Oh, welcome back to American Agenda. The coronavirus crisis continues to wage war on American physical and financial health, which brings us to our tweet of the day. The U.S. Department of Labor tweeted their update on unemployment insurance weekly claims. Last week, 6.6 more million of Americans filing for first-time unemployment, in addition to the 6.6 from the prior week. That means altogether 10% of the U.S. population is jobless. And that's just one count, by the way, folks. Once this pandemic is behind us, how will the country's economy heal itself, and will work ever be the same? To weigh in, let's ask our A-plus panel for the day. BlondPolitician.com creator Camille Wead and founder and CEO of the International Council on Active Aging, Colin Milner. So as a fellow boomer, Mr. Milner, I'll just put us aside for a second and get to Camille to start off with. How do you think things are going to be different as we go into the next aspect of our economy with a lot of technology and stuff that maybe boomers weren't ready for?
Well, it's interesting to see the change through technology, and as a lot of millennials are working from home right now, and if they weren't working from home, they're now finding new ways to work at home, and a lot of jobs are paying them to work at home. But we're seeing a huge change in the housing market. We've already seen that a lot of millennials were living with their parents more and more, but now as they're being laid off of their jobs, some of them are having to choose to live with their parents more. We're going to see a decrease in, millennials buying homes and renting in high-rise apartments. The idea of being stuck in an elevator with a bunch of other people and someone sneezing is kind of not very attractive right now. We'll probably see an increase in millennials buying or renting homes and just being more isolated, having that privacy, being able to work from home and have that safe distance.
Colin, what do you think? I mean, you work with baby boomers. Do you think that they are all for technology? I mean, look, if we have to work from home, we're kind of forced on how to learn how to do a Zoom meeting and how to FaceTime and all of that. Do you think it's going to affect them moving forward in this new norm?
Well, I think the new norm is really the next norm, because we don't know what the new norm is. Until, well, actually, once this pandemic has passed, who knows what is in front of us. But, as we reimagine what tomorrow will be, I think we really need to focus on three things. Adoption of technology, adoption of or access to technology, especially for the older adults, the baby boomers and their parents, and also the simplicity of technology, because many of the technologies out there are actually quite complex, depending if you have ever used technology before. So I think, as we move forward to a virtual world, which is where we're heading at the moment compared to the real world, because people don't want to interact with others, or at least those that are wise people don't want to interact face to face with others at this moment. I think that we need to really focus on how to accomplish those three things.
Yeah. And Camille, what else do you see for the next new normal?
It's all the internet. The internet is the future. I mean, it was, a couple years back, but even more now, more than ever, with everything going on. It's going to be fun to see how this shift will affect seniors and older people. As I know email can be incredibly complicated. Sometimes Facebook, like, how do you post on Parler? All these social media sites are incredibly confusing, but I know that YouTube's coming out with people who are explaining it. So we'll see how as the world's changing with a lot of online things, how that will affect our senior citizens, and hopefully they'll be good.
Yeah, thank goodness for those how-to videos on YouTube. I go to those for certain things. Colin, what's one of the biggest challenges that you think baby boomers will face? I mean, we have technology. Is there anything else? Because a lot of people are used to being at work, socializing with people. And if more companies are saying, you know what, you can work from home, is that going to be a challenge? Maybe isolation or anything like that besides technology?
Well, I think we're already seeing that. Social isolation. You're seeing things like spousal abuse going up, alcoholism, and so forth. So I think that it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it minimizes exposure, but on the other hand, it exposes us to things that we really maybe haven't come in contact with, such as our wives 24 hours a day. Or our children 24 hours a day. So I think that, things are changing rapidly. And, one of the things that we need to look at as we look towards the next normal is what will our consumers' expectations be and what will their preferences be? And to me, I think one of the main preferences will be not to touch anything. So anyone out there that actually...
Yeah. Colin, we're running out of time. I hate to cut you off, but Colin and Camille, thank you so much for your advice. We really appreciate it. We'll